Yes, it's me. And my opinions. I know I've been busy doing my nutrimetic stuff. Trying to work out if I can do this as a business. Who knows? I don't know. Guess I just have to have confidence in myself. But that's okay. I can, because I have confidence in not a lot of people at the moment. So let's jump straight in. Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews has warned, surprisingly, that going back into a statewide lockdown is something he'll consider if the 10 postcodes and the outbreaks don't stay there and they get worse. Yesterday they had 73 new viruses. Today it was 77. They are outdoing themselves each day. Well done. He says imposing a lockdown was a difficult call. No, it wasn't. It was a timely one and should have been done days earlier. Look, I'm not being all up myself and what have you. In the past week, New South Wales have had 49. And they're just the ones who got tested. I had to go and get tested on Monday. That was fun, but out of the symptoms, decided to be socially responsible. Unlike some other dickheads who just wander about willy-nilly, hugging people, kissing people, being all lovely and joyful to see one another because, they've been locked down for 11 years. So now Victoria's been, these new lockdown, they're going to be locked down until the 29th of July. Some people are going to go batshit crazy. And I feel sorry for the people who are not affected, who've done the right thing, who have been lumped together with these assholes who don't wear masks, who don't wash their hands, who aren't socially distant, who don't quarantine when they're told to. So, So Danny said, this is so wildly infectious that even minor breaches of rules can lead to this random movement of the virus around the community. I could write these press... I've been saying this shit for 16 weeks now. It travels like a cold. It is more infectious than a cold. And it doesn't care about how much money you have or your gender or your age. You can get it. Yes, you can be asymptomatic. Yes, it's the old people who are dying. It's so unfair. I mean, I could think of so many people who I wouldn't mind seeing getting coronavirus and dying from it because it would be doing humanity a huge favour. So they've got a testing blitz where some poor bastards have 54,000 doors they've knocked on now so they can go and do a test. And people who aren't in lockdown are still, if you're sick, stay home. That you are required to stay home. I love the whole booze bus. Not a booze bus though. It's a COVID-19. They're going to check your license and they're going to see if you should be quarantined. They're going to ask you why. And if you're not there for school or work, if you're required to, essential shopping, a couple of the other bullshit reasons. I mean, we do have home delivery. So that one doesn't fly with me. They can get fines. He's saying, I hope we don't have to issue any fines, but unless you enforce the rules, they won't be followed. I hope they do issue fines, bloody big ones. And then with that money, go and pay for ventilators and PPE and mental health care for people who are suffering because of this. Do that with the fines. So for these 10 postcodes not to be locked down, they need to see a significant drop in numbers. Yeah, that shit ain't happening. Yeah, look, he's saying follow the rules, use common sense, don't pretend it's over. You know what the problem with common sense is? It's no longer common. And follow the rules. Obviously not. People can't. You gave them some freedom and they still didn't follow the rules. Lock the whole state down. That's what you need to do. Lock it all down. And so if somebody comes to your doorstep and says, can we give you a test? The answer is yes. More than 900 people have refused to take a test. And now there's questions about whether it should be mandatory. Professor Kelly, he's the acting CMO, said it should be a last resort. Dude, we are at the last resort. Hold those bastards down and shove that swab up their nose and down their throat. This is not a choice. This is a public health matter. They don't get a right to choose. They're up there with the bloody antivaxxers and all of those dickheads who think that they've got a right to walk around and carry disease and not be held accountable because it's their body. If I got a hold of them, it would be their fucking funeral. Oh, and yeah, here we go. Stating the obvious, Professor Kelly said wearing a mask in affected areas could be part of the solution. Well, fuck me. Who could have thought of that idea? Oh, and then, so some of these being community transmissions from families, what have you, some have come from the people who are in quarantine. Because in New South Wales, the people in charge of the quarantine hotels are the Australian ADF and New South Wales Police. Down in Victoria, they are just using private security companies, poorly trained, lowly paid. They've given that job to the lowest possible bidder. And look what happened. Intimate contact with people in quarantine. I mean, I know we've got COVID-19, but people, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, I mean, you're gross. And it's not just the one or the two. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that. And then things like sharing a cigarette lighter, so you're this far away, taking a bite of someone's food, carpooling to get to and from work. So yeah, no international flights will be landing in Melbourne for the next 2 weeks, which is great. Does that mean that more are going to come here and we're going to have to foot the bill? I think we should be like Northern Territory and Queenslanders. You want to fly back to Australia? You have to go into quarantine for 14 days and you will pay for it. We're not doing it anymore. But to make you feel better, for people who are in quarantine, Corrections Victoria are now taking care of it. I like the idea. It's just, correctional officers in Victoria aren't necessarily known for their fast actions in some regards. Like police informants, Carl what's his face, got shanked. They knew it was going to happen. They just watched on the one and he got shanked. Yeah, a lot of people die in Victorian jails, but hopefully they'll do a better job and they won't be having sex with the people who are in quarantine. But in regards to hotel quarantine, experts have pointed to Australia's mandatory hotel quarantine program as one of the most successful public health measures to be implemented in response to COVID-19 pandemic. That's why we've seen far less cases and far less deaths than other countries. Agreed. It's a bloody brilliant idea. Boris Johnson's just trying to introduce it now. Too late, mate. Way too late. So yeah, yet again, Gladys was on the news again this morning. We will be banning people from the hotspots from Victoria. We will be checking your licences, and if you come from them, you're not going to come into the state. And if you're found to be in New South Wales, Brad Hazzard has now signed an executive order that says that you will receive an $11,000 fine or be jailed for 6 months. I think that's brilliant. Oh, and that also applies to the dickheads from New South Wales who decide to travel there as well. You are going to need to quarantine yourself. And then, you too will be checked up. We're quite good at that. I've seen people being checked up. Australia's Chief Nursing Officer, Alison McMillan, said that health authorities had anticipated localised community outbreaks like we're seeing. She just didn't think the numbers were going to increase so exponentially. However, we're well prepared to deal with that because during all the lockdown time that we had, that's when the government's got like hospitals ready and testing clinics, and my dad works for a company and he's been setting up like testing clinics and organising stuff. So I know how well we've done during this time, this kind of the lag period between when we got locked down to what I'm seeing as second wave. So she says, while they're concerning, we're well prepared to deal with them. Well, not that well prepared because we're having to send almost 30 healthcare workers from South Australia to Victoria to help cope with this. So maybe some people are better prepared than others. So this is not virus related at all. This is just something that I think sucks dicks. So there is, up in the northern part of Arnhem Land, there is a town, and please forgive me if I say it incorrectly and not in quite the correct Indigenous way. Nahalunbi. They've had yet another major blackout. They didn't have any power for 17 hours. So they lost stock. They lost all their communications. A lot of them, like us, no power, no water to your house. And it's about the 8th time. Rio Tinto is in charge of supplying power. Oh, and look, Rio Tinto getting to destroy the lives of people living in outback Australia and having no repercussions whatsoever. So, they're called upon the mining giant to provide compensation because there's a lot of spoiled produce. 17 hours, way up there where it's friggin' hot. Yeah, people have they've lost stock. Not only that, they were miserable. If I had to be up there, and I hate the hot weather, I want to be compensated if I had my power taken away from me. Rio bloody Tinto. They are so corrupt. So, Oh, school holidays start this week. So we've got a raft of eased New South Wales coronavirus restrictions right in time for school holidays. Not in this house. There will be some things done, but they will be limited. From today, indoor venues such as pubs, cafes, restaurants, as well as functions can hold any number of people as long as they remain seated and stick to the 1 person per 4 square metres rule. That is such bullshit. I've seen the footage. No one sticks to that rule. People are jammed up, having drinks at the bar. Tables are this far away. 10,000 fans will be allowed to fill stadiums for sporting and cultural events. Fantastic. Please don't wear a mask. Community sport can resume for kids and adults alike. They've got stricter rules. Plus, it's outside. The social distancing is better controlled. But, you know, spit comes out. People handle balls and throw. Yeah, I still don't like it. Still don't like it. I think it's too early. I think they're trying to placate the public because we are selfish, we are lazy, we are so full of immediate gratification that we just can't wait. We just can't wait anymore. And what's happened in Victoria is now going to, it can and it will replicate. Oh, and that increasing the capacity for public transport. So for all those people who actually have to work for a living, you still have to stand on the spots and watch yourself. Carry some wipes, antibacterial wipes, and wear a mask. Wear a fucking mask. So what can you do this winter break? Keep warm. The Sydney Harbour Bridge climb is opening. Luna Park's opening again. Blue Mountain Scenic World is opening again. Oh, I can't wait for that. Yeah. Go, take your kids. Oh, don't bother trying to go to the snow. They're completely booked out. Yeah. They've had to slash the capacity because a lot of their slopes are damaged from bushfires, but also because coronavirus. So, yeah, if you thought you're going on a snow holiday, you're not. And where can you travel? Well, from the 10th of July, you can go to Queensland, unless you're from Victoria, and then you can't. Oh, South Australia. If you're from New South Wales and Victoria, you're not allowed to go. The Northern Territory said they plan to open their borders on the 17th of July, but maybe not after today. First COVID-19 positive patient in over, 50 days. I think they're going to lock those borders down again. Quick smart. So, yeah, Northern Territory. I doubt you'll be going there either. Tasmania's borders are still closed. I love Tasmania. I've never been, but I wouldn't mind being there with the borders closed. So, look, that's 18 minutes. I'm going to make a second one. I have to go and collect a daughter. We'll talk some other stuff. Upload this. Yeah, there'll be more Nutrimedics videos and stuff because I'm trying to start a little business. I'm trying to earn some money since it's hard to go out and get a job. I'm trying to do this for myself. So back me. Join my group. Look at the catalogue. Ask me questions. If you've got a little something you'd like to fix, ask me. I'm doing okay for someone who's 46 and with 6 children. Anyway, they are today's opinions. So usually I would have some nice music to take us out to, but this thing hasn't been, well, doesn't pick up the music the way it used to. I think it's this new whole, let's see. So I've got, look, yeah. Beyonce, she always makes me feel better. Yep. Everyone's got my love on top of your hearts. Don't get dirty about that.